Hi there everybody, it's Susie Fido here from Marketing with Ethics, and I have an exciting guest for you today. I would love to introduce the lovely Jo-Anne Godden of RubyMoon. Now, I promised you interviews with some amazing companies that are out there to help save the planet, who have ethical businesses and who really do want to make a huge difference. And one of those companies that I found is the fabulous RubyMoon. So Jo-Anne, welcome. Thank you very much for giving up your time today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about RubyMoon. What is it that you actually do at RubyMoon?
We're actually the world's only eco and ethical swim and activewear company. So we have both a social impact and we also have an environmental impact.
Fantastic. Now, how did you actually come up with the idea of it? How did you get involved with it?
I've always been involved all my working life with swimwear and lingerie design, pre-production, production. So they always tell you to do something that you know about if you're going to do make your own business. And obviously swimwear was something I really knew inside and out. But I wanted to make a social business and an environmental business. And it sounds a bit dull, but I actually read 2 books. One was about the environmental impact of the fast fashion industry, and the other book was about how to empower women, particularly in developing countries, through enterprise. And the business is actually a combination of those 2 books, actually.
Fantastic. So obviously when we get to the end, we'll find out how we can get hold of you, and I would love you to share links to those books where people can purchase those books because they sound fabulous. So
Sure.
As far as it being environmental, why is it so important to you to have an environmental business?
The fashion industry is one of the world's worst industry when it comes to pollution, environmental and social degradation. So if we could flip the fashion industry to have positive impact rather than negative impact, we would actually be making a huge contribution to a greener planet, but also to the thousands of women who are employed in that industry. So it was very important for me to include both those aspects in a business. As a sort of pioneer business, really, because we started this 10 years ago, before it was very in the public eye. We're fast approaching the tipping point now, I'd like to think, where people are finally waking up to what's happening and the future effects of our actions, our consumer actions. So, yes, of equal importance, environment and people are obviously of equal importance.
So you say it's ethical and eco. How exactly is it eco? How do you do the products themselves that make them eco?
So all our products have up to 50% less carbon emissions, and how we do that is that we use a yarn called Econol, which comes from used and ghost fishing nets, which are floating out there in the sea. They're made from nylon 6, and they're a really strong nylon, and unfortunately those nets get lost at sea by fishermen, just as a natural course of fishing. They don't do it deliberately, and those nets keep on fishing, entangling all of the animals that we love, turtles, dolphins, all sorts of fish. But not only that, they're shedding microfibers, tiny pieces of plastic that we ingest as well. So it's really important we get those nets out of the ocean. And it's a pan-European project whereby the nets are collected by NGOs. Then the nets are reprocessed and made into a wonderful nylon microfabric that we use for our swimwear. And it sounds all scratchy and itchy and horrible, but actually it's a really beautiful soft fabric, and that's the environmental impact that we have. But we also don't use any harmful dyes or printing in our supply chain either, so we're actually vegan certified too.
Fantastic. Being a vegan myself, that is obviously music to my ears. So, and as far as the actual products itself is concerned, you know, is there a particular age group that you market with that? Is it a case of, do you do men's and ladies swimwear and activewear?
We do women's only at the moment, but we don't have a typical age profile. We seem to think of our customers more of an, you know, it's more of a lifestyle, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's people that really want to make a consumer impact with their purchases. So modern women that are conscious about their choices, and it could be anyone from, you know, we've got customers that are early 20s, and then we've actually had mother and daughter customers, to be honest, too. So it's wide ranging, and I'd say, you know, women in their 60s are still fans of ours, 60s, you know, 70s. We're part of a wider swimming community down here in Brighton. Actual sea swimming in freezing waters all year long, all year long. So yeah, you know, those ladies are in their 60s and they're having a fabulous time.
Excellent. So as far as you say about obviously taking the fishing nets out and getting that repositioned and everything, that obviously has a massive positive impact as far as the environment is concerned. What other sort of impacts? I know from looking at your website, you know, as far as your profits, I absolutely love the way you deal with that. Maybe you could tell our audience about how that side of your business works.
Sure. So what prompted me to start the business is that I had a change of circumstances at the beginning of the recession in 2009, and I moved back to the UK, and I had 2 young children that I had to support as a single parent, and it was a pretty scary time because I also lost my job because of the recession at that time. But I knew I had a skill set that I could call upon, whereas so many women around the world do not have that skill set to call upon, or that, you know, if you like, that education. And I began to imagine, what would it be like if I had, you know, I literally couldn't provide for my kids, how awful I would feel as a mother, you know, and that is very much women's choices right now around the world. They don't have a choice. And they don't have those options to feed their kids. So I became very interested in microfinance, which are small loans that we, as people living here with so many resources, particularly women here, can make. They're small loans to women entrepreneurs all around the world, and we do that through a charity called Lend with Care. They're based in London, and obviously it's important that these loans are made well. The women around the world in 14 different countries receive some business training, and alongside a small loan, which they can then set up or grow their own business. Because what's really life-changing is when a woman starts to earn her own income, because her status in the local community is elevated. People actually start taking notice of people when they start earning money, just as they do here. And suddenly these women have a voice where often they haven't even had rights over their own children. So there's the women's empowerment issue, but also the fact of the matter is, if you're getting a steady income, you can then send your kids to school. You can then start making repairs on your house.
So it has a fantastic snowball effect to future.
Absolutely, and the nutrition of the children is elevated as well. So all sorts of great, fantastic things happen, not only to the family, immediate family, but also to the community at large. And some of the women also in groups, microfinance groups, where they support each other in their businesses. So that's a really powerful way of being.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And like I say, that's 100% of your profits go to that as well, isn't it? So it really is making a massive difference out there. So, I mean, what would you say is your biggest success to date?
So far we've made 275 loans to women. So that's, you know, we're pretty proud of that. And I suppose about 18 months ago, we launched something called our Gym to Swim collection, which is a capsule collection of mix and match items that you can wear for all kinds of exercise, whether you're a yoga fan or you prefer just going to the gym, or you'd like to end up with a swim afterwards. So it's Gym to Swim. All the items can be worn for both exercise and swimming. And I think that's really what set us apart, and that's where we've start seeing the growth of our company, really. And as well, it's a lot to do with timing as well, which I mentioned earlier in the talking point. We really feel like now is the time, if you like.
Yeah, with Extinction Rebellion, etc., there's an awful lot more out there now telling people that we really need to make a difference. And, you know, a lot of people like yourselves know that difference isn't needed for a long time, but to get the message out there to the wider public. And the thing is, if they can end up with a great product and it's also having a positive impact on the environment, that's what I see as a win-win all round, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to interview you. Now, as far as your marketing of your business, obviously we are a marketing business and our followers come to us to get some marketing tips and advice. What sort of marketing have you found that has actually worked well for your business?
So when we started, we were very lucky to be mentioned on lots of different blogs. So people would approach us and they said, oh, you know, we love what you do and we're going to do a feature, you know, I don't know, 5 eco activewear brands or 5 swimwear brands that are doing business for good. Or even, you know, the whole thing now, isn't it? The Christmas, eco-Christmas gifts. So those sort of blogs really helped us because we, you know, unless you want to spend a huge amount of money on SEO and compete in that space, if someone writes in, you know, on the Google search engine, you know, eco swimwear, they're going to be presented with a lot of blog entries, and that's where we were featured because people at the beginning were just writing ethical swimwear into Google, and that's how they would find us. But my thing, apart from, you know, collaborating with those people, is actually to collaborate with others in this space as well, because, you know, you can cut costs with your marketing. Is there a product or a company that you could share on photography and marketing costs? You know, complementary businesses, complementary products. That can also have a really good effect because you're not only plugging into your own customer base, but you're plugging into theirs as well.
Collaboration always works very well. Okay. And what would you say has been your biggest obstacle as far as marketing is concerned, if you have any?
It's always cost and investment, return on investment, I think. You know, you're always battling to find the right amount of money to do your marketing, and because we're a social enterprise and we want to make loans to women, we can't just go out and spend everything we earn on marketing because we want loans. You know, we have to balance with getting out there with making our loans and increasing our social impact. So
it's all about getting that return on investment with it, isn't it?
It is. That's super important.
So whereabouts are you? You know, obviously you've got your website, etc. What sort of places is it that you've tried the marketing? What areas have you tried?
So we sell not just on our website, but we sell in other e-commerce websites as well. But our main everything is e-commerce. We don't have any bricks and mortar stores, for example. We took that decision a long time ago because, first of all, we wanted to keep our prices down for the end customer. And if you're selling through a shop, because of the margins, it would put us in a luxury price point. Yeah. We don't want to be luxury because then it's all about rich women helping poor women, and that's not what we want to be about. We want to be a fairly affordable that most people could invest in our products, and they are investment pieces. They're going to last for a long, long time because that's the way we make them. So it's completely different to fast fashion. It's investment dressing, if you like, but still affordable.
Yeah. So you're on other people's websites with your products. I take it, do you keep the stock at your home and then
Yeah, we also
direct from there, or
charity that distributes our who has their own website as well. Warehouse. So we work with a charity that has a warehouse, and they distribute our products for us all around the world. So yeah, that's how that works.
And what other kind of marketing have you done? So you've got your website, you're on other people's websites.
Yeah.
Have you tried things like, obviously you've got social media. What social media platform do you find works better for you?
So we've tried all sorts of different things. We've done paid marketing on Facebook and a little bit on Instagram. So both of those work very well. I'd say we've sort of moved away from Twitter a little bit now because, just because we've got a very visual product.
Yeah.
So we need to show photos, and that doesn't always work quite as well on Twitter. So social media has been important, but it's getting less so, and less people do the paid advertising bit now. You know, I think Instagram was great at the beginning, and then now, unless you're wanting to spend a lot of money, you're not going to reach your target audience. I think what's really good about what we do have is that all our social media following is actually engaged people. You know, we don't have people that are just looking at us for, I don't know, you know, some people you can tell that they've paid to get their followers. It's very obvious.
One of my biggest bugbears. Yeah. The issue is if you ever look to do Facebook advertising, if you've paid for those followers, one, because of the small percentage of people that actually engage, it doesn't even get out to your genuine followers. And secondly, if you wanted to book what's called a lookalike audience to do a paid campaign, you're not putting it against the right kind of profiles. So yeah, it's one of my things that I probably drill out there so many times: never ever pay for likes on any platform whatsoever.
No. And so what I can say is when we do, you know, things on Facebook, I know that it's the right audience is looking at us for what we're doing. So yeah,
I've seen some great posts coming on from you myself, because obviously you talk about general things to do with the environment, etc., not just your products, which is something, again, you know, I always say to people, 20% maximum. Give those people interest as well. So you said that people actually do searches for ethical swimwear, etc. So is Google Ads anything that you've ever considered at all?
We've done a little bit of Google Ads last year. We'll probably do it again maybe when the season picks up. I don't think it's really worth doing now, you know, just because we are also waiting for new stock to come in. So as soon as you've got the right stock in, we'll think about that again. So yeah, good.
Those New Year's resolutions about getting fit.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, January is a great time because people go straight on the diets and start buy gym memberships, don't they?
yeah, I've done that a few times myself. And I must admit, I love the whole gym wear to swimwear side of it, because I'm one of these, as you can tell, I've not necessarily kept it up that much. But back in the days when I did used to do it, I could only ever do the gym if I had a swim after. Otherwise, I couldn't move for 3 days. Yeah. And it used to be a case of having to go and have a shower because you're all sweaty, trying to put your swimsuit on to then go and have a swim afterwards. So I love that idea of just literally being able to use that and just go straight through. It's fantastic. Yeah. So as far as your marketing is concerned, if you could give one marketing tip to a brand new startup eco business, what would it be?
I would say make sure you've got a nice pot of money to dedicate to paid marketing. People think just because you're on social media, you're going to get an instant following, and just because you build it doesn't mean they'll come. You know, you have to have a good marketing spend these days.
Yeah, yeah. Investing for the future.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent. So I just want to finish off today. So when our audience gets to hear about this and see this wonderful video, where can they get hold of your products? Where can they go to find you?
So the best place is to go to our website, which is rubymoon.org.uk. And that's where you'll find out all about our impact as well as our collection.
Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much for your time today, Jo. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm actually going to be taking a look. Hopefully your sizes go up slightly larger, that maybe I can look at something for myself. But I'm sure our audience will love it, and let's hope that this gets some great advertising out there for you, because I think what you're doing, both the products are fantastic, but also more importantly to me is the impact it's having and the knock-on effect with what you're doing with your profits as well out there to empower other women to really make a difference. So thank you very much for your time, and we shall get customers. If anybody has any questions for Jo about RubyMoon or anything like that, then I'm sure if you pass those messages to me, I can pass them on to Jo and get you in contact with her, and we would love to hear what you think of the product. Thank you very much again, Jo, and I shall speak to you again soon.